There is a fancy trend to do cold showers, plunges, ice baths, and to do hot saunas and infrared saunas. It's been going for over than decades, and it's more and more popular amongst more people. Do we know about the physiological effects of those on the human body? This is the question of this video. I also will prepare a video about the scientific data for cold and hot exposure, and also a video about the contraindications. So let's get going about the physiological effects or the body response of cold and hot exposure. And we're going to start with the cold. First and foremost, the most important thing is the vasoconstriction of the vessels. So cold exposure causes blood vessels to constrict, reducing blood flow towards the skin and the extremities of our body. This helps conserve heat and protects vital organs. The organs get a rush of nutrients through the blood, which is a great stimulation for them. So what else is happening? It is the activation of the brown fat tissue. Cold exposure can activate brown adipose tissue, which burns calories to generate heat, potentially aiding in weight management. Yay! I also have a video on the visceral fat. So the coldest showers you can get alternating with hot showers is the optimal for women. Men are doing way better on plunges and cold baths. For some reason, for many reasons, because women are very complicated creatures, women do better on cold showers with alternating with hot. So the cold plunges are preferred to the ice baths if you go this direction, and make sure that you don't have any condition. If you do, watch my video, which covers some of the contraindications about cold and hot exposure when you have different conditions. So the cold showers and especially the cold plunges lead to better recovery and inflammation control of the body. The difference between the cold plunges and ice baths is that the cold plunges, the water is moving. The ice bath, the water is still. And that's why the cold plunges are preferred. So Paul Chek, he's my teacher, I'm very proud of that, explains that if you stay past the point you feel numb, the body triggers what is called Hunter's effect reflex. And this Hunter reflex pushes your blood into the core, but it can also slow down the rate at which your peripheral circulation normalizes for up to 3 days. And if you are an athlete or somebody who trains regularly, this is not good for your recovery. Then what else happens during the cold exposure? We have hormonal response by the body. The cold exposure triggers the release of norepinephrine, a hormone which is a neurotransmitter that can improve mood, increase focus, and reduce inflammation. It's all about inflammation with those practices, and you will see with the hot is detoxification. So we also have immune boost. Some studies suggest that regular cold exposure can enhance the immune function, increasing the production of white blood cells. So this is big, this is very important. You don't need a pill, you don't need supplements to do this white blood cells production, increasing of this production. Then we cultivate the mental resilience. Cold exposure is known to boost our mental toughness and resilience, partly by triggering a stress response that the body learns to manage over time. And this is very, very important and very beneficial. And now let's get to the hot exposure, the saunas. During the sauna, and here I'm going to mostly refer to the Finn sauna, the Scandinavian sauna, not the infrared sauna. The difference in between is the infrared sauna, you don't get that hot, but infrared sauna has healing properties because the infrared ray can go quite deep into the human body. You can stay longer, you can meditate inside, you can read inside. Therefore, it's very preferred for people maybe over 50. And if you don't have experience with saunas, and if you have any condition, high cholesterol or cardiovascular problems, this I would suggest. If not, the hot saunas are great, those regular Scandinavian sauna. So what is happening there? We have vasodilation. There we had vasoconstriction. Now we have vasodilation of the vessels. Heat exposure causes blood vessels to dilate, increasing the blood flow to the skin and muscles. So it's the reverse what is happening with the cold exposure. The blood there was directed towards the core. Now we have the reverse. This helps in muscle recovery and reduces stiffness. It makes the tissue more malleable, and therefore it improves the mobility of the joints. That's why many people stay in the sauna while they have an injury, and because they feel better afterwards for a certain period of time. The hot exposure has also cardiovascular benefits. The literature shows that the regular sauna use has been associated with improved cardiovascular health, including reduced blood pressure and enhanced heart function. This is big, this is important, and this is something I suggest you look into it if you haven't done hot exposure to that moment on a regular basis. Now, I'm very careful when I recommend extremes to people with conditions, and especially hot or cold for people with cardiovascular conditions. I believe that in these cases, the body needs to be strengthened first and then exposed to any extremes. Then we have detoxification. So, sweating in a sauna helps eliminate toxins from the body through the skin. All of you know that. Although the extent of detoxification benefits is debated. Here, I want you to listen carefully. If we open the brackets, every bodily system has a way to detoxify for 24 hours. For instance, the brain, the nervous system, and the brain, central nervous system, has the lymphatic system that detoxifies. Also, the colon has its own system to detoxify. Staying for 20 minutes in a hot sauna can stimulate, speed up, intensify some of those processes. Don't think that you are doing the detoxification. The body has mechanisms for it. You can only aid those mechanisms. Not always this interference is a good idea, though. I remember a course I did some time ago with the great Emma Lane from the UK. She's a naturopathic doctor, and she said, be very careful when suggest any kind of detox. The rate of stimulation of the detoxifying process should be controlled. Otherwise, the body releases lots of toxins which will build up throughout the years, and they might be reabsorbed by the tissues. And this is not what we want, because we can make things worse. So we are coming back to the conversation about evaluation, because we know that guessology most often doesn't work. Another thing that is happening while exposed to hot is the heat shock proteins. They became very famous after COVID because a lot of people wanted to get rid of those things that COVID left in the body, vaccines left in the body. And we started talking about those shock proteins. I have a protocol for that. So I have a video, heat shock proteins, friend or foe, and you can learn more about that there. Also, when you do the hot exposure, you feel relaxed. So we have the relaxation. Saunas promote relaxation by reducing stress hormone like cortisol and increasing endorphins, leading to improved mental well-being. You feel light, and you feel like you have a good energy if you don't overdo it. And finally, combining both sauna and swimming for alternating periods of about 20 minutes each is a great way to detox. I learned this from the late Giveaway, who is the inventor, or say creator of the Eldoa method, and who just died recently. But he left amazing knowledge for us to share with people. So combining both sauna and swimming for alternating periods of 20 minutes each is a great way to detox. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you will watch the other videos on the topic.
Follow for more Transform Perform. Drop a comment if you have any questions.